back to finishing power and data cables because I realized I was actually mistaken about specifically this power cord, which has the SATA going on. Let's make sure that this is actually going to... Yep, okay. So, what I missed was on this ATX deal. Let me take this off and see if I can actually show this. It's kind of tough-ish. Come on. There we go. So, I could not figure out how to hook this cable up to anything, because this thing has to plug into something. Well, it turns out, on the front of this, which some of you probably saw in the video, right here is a nice little plug, and it's even labeled SATA. So I was just blind and completely missed that. So anyway, with that hooked up, let me get the CPU one off of here, because I'm going to need to do something a little tweaky. And actually, let's just move that to the side completely for now. So because this thing, which is going to the hard drive underneath the motherboard, is a Molex connector, I don't actually want to use this one. I have enough individual SATA 6 gig cables and enough. This thing's got 4 of these, and I think, well, I'm not entirely sure about this. I'm actually going to have to just wait and see. If I get this one under the board, not use this one at all, it's just like an extension, and then wrap this up around, I think I can hit the other 2 drives with this one. And actually here, let's... So if that's possible, then I'll do that. If not, I dug around in my old power supply box, and I found a cable. This, where'd it go? I may have accidentally put it back away, not meaning to. Anyway, I found a cable that has 2 Molex for these two, because this is for the front connector for the weird barrel thing, this deal. So I found a cable for that in an old power supply box that I might use, and then I will actually use it with this one. So let me just see, layout-wise, how this is going to go. And I said earlier that I didn't need the book anymore, but I think I need the book again for just a second. So when you mount the SSDs on this deal, there's a specific orientation that they go. So, position 2 and 3. So this thing goes this way. So the back, this little extra thing is by the back. And then the drives also face the back. So let me flip this around. Okay, so that's on the back. And then the drives, which are over here, would be upside down and then facing the back. So there's a set of screw holes. There's 2 different sets. Looks like one of them is right about there, and the other one is there. So that is unfortunate, because this cable, if it were underneath the board, is not long enough to come around and do both of those. So I am going to have to use the MOLEX and the old power supply cable. So let me dig that back out. From this box. So this is just an old modular 500 watt supply that I have from forever ago. And actually, 1 second, I will be right back. Alright, and back to digging through this box. So, let's see. This one has 3. I had one in here, I thought that only had 2. So basically it's this 4-piece, or 4-pin power supply connector to a bunch of MOLEX supplier, whatever you call those things. I guess the male connector is what they call them. This one also has 3. I'm trying to find just the one with 2 because there's not a whole lot of room in this case. And if I can find one that has exactly the right amount, I will save myself some trouble. So maybe I didn't put that back because I'm not seeing it. I've also got this kind of thing for the SATA, which I thought I was going to have to use, but then I figured out where that other cable goes, so I think I'll be okay there. And where did I drop that other cable? I just don't know. Let's see. So this is like the 6-pin for video cards. Another 6-pin for video cards. And 8-pin, I think, for motherboard power, which is not necessary in this case. Here's a really crazy ATX one. It's ridiculous. And SATA again, and fan power, which I could almost use if I weren't using this connection for the SATA. So, I think either I put away the one that only had 2 and lost it somehow, or dropped it, or I'm just crazy and I never actually found one that only had 2 and I was just giving myself false hope. So, I will just get out one of the ones with 3, and that's what we will have to use for this. Let's see. Alright, so this is going to be our guy. And everything else we'll just pack away again. Okay. So, moving the chair a little bit here. Alright. So, MOLEX 1 is going to come off the front of the little ATX deal. And we need to attach the hard drives to this thing. I'm pretty sure that there's these little silver screws. So 8 of those. And 8. Okay, and I'm still going to not do the complete attachment of the power thing because I know that the actual internal supply is coming in 2 days, so we're just going to leave that alone. So the full case won't be able to put together today, but it's alright. We'll at least be able to start installing some software on the thing. So once again, to the picture of the hard drives, this one, position 2 and 3. So if the case is facing me backwards, and this thing, oh, this was actually upside down when I was looking at it, I think. Oh, wait. No, they've just got... So, in the book, they have it in the picture of the case right here, like this. But in the picture above that tells you how to orient them, it's like this. Oh, no. What? I think this piece must have changed over time, because this is not the same exact. Weird. Very weird. Well, yeah, it does. It looks like this, I guess. But then it's like this. And honestly, it probably doesn't make that much of a difference. It's just a cable routing thing. So maybe I will actually grab those and see. Oh, God, idiot. Oh, I found the one that has 2. So, we're going to use this one, and I'm going to put this one back later, because you don't need to watch me dig through that cable box again. Not that you needed to watch me do it the first time. Anyway. Okay, so this one just has the 2 MOLEX, so that'll be less cable to run everywhere. And I'm going to plug this 4-pin into the side on the ATX converter deal that says it's for PCIe, but I don't have PCIe devices on this, so I will use it for that instead. So that's what that's going to look like. There's going to be a lot of cables sticking out of this deal when I'm done here. So, let's see. We'll route that back that way. And the reason I actually stood up here was to get all of my SATA cables. And test some routes for these. So if this thing is here, and we have to go on underneath, because if I go on top of it, there's not going to be room for the top plate to screw down at all. So, oh, you might. Weird. So the screw holes, if you have one drive on this, which goes this way-ish, they're all beveled and fancy, which would tell me that you actually use different screws, whereas all the rest of them can use these flat silver ones. So definitely pay attention in the book to what screws they tell you to use. Actually, I'm just going to check that just quickly. Yeah, so in the picture for that, it's the silver ones, and they still show the silver ones here. It's odd that that's a beveled piece, though. Let me look and make sure. F. Yeah, silver flathead. So it's just beveled unnecessarily, I guess. So that's okay. Anyway, So we're going to do, this is going to be drive 0, the one that's underneath, which I believe was this one. Look at the little diagram again. 0, yep, and then 1, and then 2. So 1 goes here, and that'll nicely hold that ribbon for the USB, for the front panel USB. And then 2 is going to go this way here. Okay, side. So those will go over the RAM. If I can, and then under this plate. And there's just enough room for that. Don't like that a lot, because the heat off these little spreaders on the RAM might do some terribleness. So I might just do a little route around here with a bend. So if we bend that around this way, and then we can come out on top of the drives here. So that way, with the clip up, which is super handy, that would mean the drives would want to be this way and clip in like that. But that doesn't work because they have to be upside down. So I'll just have to twist that cable one more time, but that's okay. Alright, so there's one. And then the other one we'll do the same thing with. We'll wrap it this way, around, over, and this will actually be this side. And the clip will just have to be down. And this way. Oh. Interesting. Oh no, it's just because the ports are flopped opposite directions on the board. Because the clip's up on one of these and the clip's down on the other one. But they're going to both have to be down to actually hook in. So anyway, for that, this guy goes here. These are not touching anything in the top. So mounting this to the case is going to take the F screws, which are one more time. Install the rack to the body. Okay, so it's just more of these silver ones. So I'll just grab 2 more of those. There we go. And let's see. This is going to go here. So the drives need to be, yeah, they have to be upside down for the screw holes. So they'll go there and there. Alright. Okay, that'll fit. So there's one. And wait till you get them all lined up before you tighten them all the way. There's 2. 3. Dang it. Alright, and there's 4. So now we will tighten those the rest of the way down. And then drive 2, technically drive 3. Unless you're doing 0 indexing, then it's drive 2. I count those wrong? Or did I lose one? I may have counted wrong. That's okay, there's more in there, I think. Yeah, there's 2 more, so we're good. So I didn't count wrong, I just lost one. Because there should be 3 in there. But that's okay, I will find it later. Nope, I just found it, it's right there. Okay, so drive 3 or 2. 1, 2. 3. 4, and tighten in a cross shape, or so I've been told, or an X. Okay, and then this guy would go here, but I think I still want to get some more cables going. Ooh, there's a little... Oh. That's... So my RAM is a little too tall. Ugh. Wow. Okay, that's not gonna work at all. Wow, that's really unfortunate. It goes right under where the hard drives go. So, I'm wondering if I can flip... Yeah, so if I flip the sides the other way, so then these will be here instead. Then the RAM's not in the way, or they'll be... Oh, crap. Then the RAM's still in the way. And that might... Let's see how... If the top plate will fit regardless, or if I absolutely have to move that. Odd. What is going on here? Make sure that even fits just on its own. Okay, it fits on its own. So, I believe, no matter what I do, that that's going to be bumped up a little bit. Because that... Oh boy, that really sucks. Let me get that just kind of partially screwed down. And we will see. Otherwise I'm going to have to do some creative finagling. So the bracket, luckily, is a little bit flexible. So if I just leave it kind of loosely screwed, it doesn't move because there's tension from it being pushed up here. I'm more worried about heat on the drives, though it is right at the edges. So maybe it'll have minimal contact. So if that's screwed down as far as it can go, without bending things too hard, then the top plate, it does fit. It's going to have to also bend a little. And I don't want to put too much pressure on the RAM. I doubt it's going to be an issue because it's pushing it down into the slot that it's supposed to be in anyway. But maybe I'll just leave these screws just a couple of turns, like a quarter or a half a turn too loose, just so it's not winching down on it too hard. that'll be okay. I don't have to screw around with the case structure too much then. I'm also not going to do that until the other power stuff is here, so that's not relevant right now anyway. Alright, so this cable is going to be, so a lot of the cables I think eventually are going to have to get pushed kind of back in loops back here, because up in front here, unless there's room on top of it, I guess, is where that other power supply is going to go, the internal one. So I might be able to do something like this with some looping. Getting the ATX in there is going to be a pain if I do that, though. Well, let's just see what I can do here. Ooh, nope. ATX has to go in before I screw this down, or it has to go in at a wonky angle and it'll probably break something. So, taking this off again. Just fine because I still have cables to route underneath it anyway. Okay. So now that could go straight in. Click. It is really close to the RAM there, but I guess it has to be. There's a little heat sink on it. So hopefully that's not heating up the RAM too much. We'll just have to run it, do some stress tests on it, and see how it does. So, let's see, this is going to be, this would normally be on the back plate, on this side, or wait, which side? Ah, there's cables everywhere. No, be this way. This one I can just slide in place for now, I guess, and not screw it down, so that'll at least give me some less ugly looking stuff. And how do I want to route that? Over that. Boy, this is just going to be packed tight here. And probably under the heat pipe, like that little USB thing. And boy, is that going to be fun. I don't know that I actually want to route that since I'm just going to take it off anyway. So yeah, for now, that's just going to chill up on top or outside the edge here. And I'll just kind of push it through, and that'll be our fake, yay, fake power. Real power for now, but anyway. So, hard drives, data cables, so this goes this way and around with that one. And then the MOLEX deal, so that's all three data cables are good. So then power for this front extension thing. This is front panel. Those can kind of just get shoved wherever because they're pretty small. So we're going to do this. Okay. And then this guy, these two actually both need to be on MOLEX. So, let's see, we'll do the first one. Let's see, I don't think this actually does recognition on which one is which. I think some of the SATA cables can do that, but where it depends on what order you plug them, but in this case, I don't think it matters. And this is just not being cooperative, of course. Come on. Oh, these little wires in here jiggle around too much. Come on. Okay, there's one. And second one has one fewer connection, so it should be a little easier to plug. Should. There we go. 2. Yeah, so this is definitely going to get creative routing when there's an extra brick sitting here. I mean, there's all this space right now for these cables to go in once I screw the front panel on, so that's great and all, but that's not going to happen in the future. So there's that, and then this one is the power for the SATA. God, I hope that's long enough. Plug that in here. It's going to have to go underneath the rack, which I can put on now. Oops, almost lost that screw. Oh boy. That's going to be torquing on the ATX thing a little bit too. That is really unfortunate. Oh, dang it. And I lost a screw underneath the motherboard. So. That's going to come off anyway. Hope you can hear that on the audio. Little screw falling out. You probably can't see it. Okay, let's try this one more time. Oh, I guess it doesn't touch. It kind of touches the ATX thing, but just barely. So it's not that bad. The RAM is the real issue here. So, and I did read, it was after I had already ordered it, of course, but I did read that there's some better, like, low-profile RAM that you can buy that does not have heat spreaders on it, though, so it's kind of a toss-up between getting rid of the heat and physically fitting in the case. You can prioritize that however you would like, obviously. I'm just going to compromise and deal with it, and we will see what the heat does. So this goes under. And this goes under. And we will do the same with the entire SATA power connections. Okay, so that's got plenty of length now to do, you know, whatever. Those. What's left? CPU connector over on that side, which I should have done before I screwed that on. But I can probably fish this through. Let's see, which one do I want to use? Because only one of them worked, if I remember right, from before. Interesting. Yeah, so yeah, there are mirror images of each other. So one of them will work and the other one will not. This one is the one that will work. So this is the one I need to fish underneath. It's easier said than done. And honestly, if it takes me more than 10 seconds here, I'll probably just take the stupid thing off and redo it again, because it's just the 2 screws. Alright, that wasn't that bad. There's a little channel on the side of the board right here. Let's see if I can tip it up. Yeah, so like kind of enough room for one 4-pin cable to just fit right through there. So that's nice. So we'll get that plugged in. There. And then I can pull the slack out. Or whatever. Curl it up. It's not going to overheat because it's just the little 12-volt cable. So that can kind of just sit wherever, as long as it's not blocking airflow. Not that there's going to be a ton of that. from convection, I would guess. So okay, CPU is hooked up, and then there's just this extra floater. These are all plugged in. I'm so glad I found that 2 connector cable, because that 4 connector one was going to just be a huge pain. This is data from the bottom of the case. The 2 datas are back here, and the 2 powers are back here. So let's hook these datas up. So the second drive is this outer one. And the third drive is this inner one. Got the hiccups. Okay. Okay, this way. Man, this is going to be a tight fit. Okay, well, like I said, I don't have to worry about it too much right now because I'm still waiting for that other power supply. So, these are all just going to hang out like this until that gets here. So, SATA power. So, this one may be a little tight, but I'd like the slack to be on the back end if possible. There we go, that's fine. And, ooh, boy. That just might reach the next one. Nice. Very nice. Okay. So then we've got, and honestly I could just cut this if I absolutely needed to. Just snip this off and tape the wires. Obviously, I'm not going to do that today. That will be a longer term play. I will just tuck those away for now. I should not touch anything. If they're tucked like that, these things, this one can probably tuck. Let's see, fold it under and tuck it like that. And maybe even underneath the loops of this guy, because that'll hold it down. Okay. Alright, it's getting close to something not the ugliest in the world. This one can probably just loop and go underneath here. See if I can get it to sit still on its own. There. Okay, and then so Thursday or whenever I get that other... Oh, and here's another one. I couldn't find... I thought I had a cable that was just a single 4-pin to 4-pin for the CPU here. I couldn't find one, so I may actually modify this cable as well and just cut this. Because I don't want to have like all this to have to tuck for absolutely no reason, just because I couldn't find the right cable. So anyway, this one on the other hand, this is just, I'm just stuck. That's going to have to figure out where to be tucked once that other power supply is here. But that is going to wait. The SATA one, probably could have done some looping underneath the motherboard before I brought it up here, but I think since that channel on the side is the same width, I could probably pull a loop. Let's see. Or push a loop, I should say. Probably. So let's see. I may have to unhook something else to get to it first. Trying not to tweak on this USB one is this weird ribbon cable, and it's super, well, I don't know if it is for sure, but it seems really flimsy. So I'm just going to try not to mess with that too much while I push this under pipes into that little channel. There we go. Into the back of the case. And then we'll just run it along that same ribbon cable loop, or maybe underneath it actually. I've got a little bit of extra room back here. Alright. That, I think, is about as good as that's going to get. And let's pull out the slack on the ribbon cable so that it's not kinking at all. Okay. So, now it's just this stupid Molex thing. and the power that will eventually be a different thing, and then this guy that, like I said, I'll probably cut that off. So for now, let's see, where's my back panel for the motherboard? Here it is. Oh, and I actually do have, this motherboard has Wi-Fi built in. I'll probably be doing this on Gigabit LAN, but there's some extra cables that could maybe go on the back. It's like the antenna, but I just leaving that in the box for now because it's never going to be needed, hopefully. Alright, so this guy go that way on the back plate, which goes this way, so I need to click it in here. It's nice and foam padded, so it'll seal up, I guess. Maybe to keep dust out is the point of that. And that will just slide on temporarily until I get the other power as well. Oh, except it's not going to stay. So I will maybe put a couple of screws for now to hold that in. Which screws, though? The little hex thumb screws, it looks like. Install the rack. Install the rack. Install the back plate and 2 side panels using 4 pieces BM4. So BM4, this says M4 because B has 2 different sets. There's M5 and there's M4. M5 by 8, M4 by 6. So the 8 I'm thinking are the huge ones. And so here's I'll see if I can hold these up and you can see the difference in size between these. And WJ's back. Oh no, not WJ's back. Trickle's back.
I assume you were talking to Amanda.
What, when I was off for like 10 seconds?
You were just talking a second ago when I came in, and I was like, no one else is on the channel.
Oh, that's because I'm streaming video to YouTube right now.
Oh, are you doing your server build?
Yeah, you're missing it.
I am.
I'm pretty much done, actually. I'm just screwed on the back plate. I actually did order that internal power supply, because I was looking at prices for the internal one and the external ones, and they were pretty much the same.
Fantastic.
So I might as well get the one that's built for this case. And these screws are not the right ones because they're not gripping. So I will try the big ones. Doesn't look like the big ones in the picture, but maybe it is. Oh wait, it's... where the heck did my...
Damn, that thing's tiny.
Yeah. So, okay. It says, attaching the H1 faceplate, the faceplate to the body in the front uses the big ones. Because there's giant holes there, and those, so it's got to be these small ones. Are these hex? I think these are this hex screwdriver. No, they're hex, but they're too big for that. So, but they are thumb screws, so I should just be able to, let me see if I can take this back plate off. And there. Okay, so they do go into that. You just gotta line them up perfectly. I'll just get an Allen wrench to do these when it's the actual final build. For now, they'll just be thumb tight, or not even tight, but tightish. Ooh, now it doesn't want to go on. It doesn't like to go on at an angle, apparently. There we go. Alright, bottom corners. this. Yeah, so I had it booted up. I did about a 2-hour one earlier. Got most of it done. Got it booted up. Got into the BIOS. Played with settings a little bit. Found out it doesn't like to boot when you turn on XMP. So I'll have to figure that out. But you know, whatever.
Were you able to check the temps while it was running?
Yeah, so it's got, you know, it's one of those fancy, way too over-featured BIOS that has like mouse input and everything. And it's got the temps on one of the little side screens. You do have to have a mouse to get to them, though.
Of course.
At least as far as I could tell. Okay, so the back plate is kind of screwed on. This power thing is just temporarily going to be chucked in through this hole until I get the real power supply here. What is that getting caught on? Oh, that's my other SATA power. Come on. And everything out front is just going to hang out for now. So, that, other than the wonky, well, I guess I could do a little less wonky. Just go under this one time. Back through here again. Okay, so if the top plate were on, as such, ish, and I'll just do very minimal screwing of that with top lid using 4 pieces C, which is where this all began. 4 pieces C. Those are the hex screws. So these guys. So that really does look kind of industrial, as I mentioned in the previous video. So those will just kind of sit for now, because I want to test how the temps do with the actual top on. And everything all smashed in there. Okay. So I'll just tighten it all the way because it's more realistic. And I think I just did that right. It doesn't look like the faceplate wants to be... Oh no, there's a little... So in the faceplate there's these little grooves all the way along the edge, and there's a lip sticking out on the top and bottom of this. So once I actually have the power supply in there, then everything should be good. It looks... it kind of looks like it's flexing the motherboard a little bit because I had to... The RAM is too tall and it's shoving up against the hard drive rack. I don't really like that. So I will probably loosen everything so it doesn't do that when it's permanently closed. But let's just see what happens. Okay. Oh, gotta get my screen back up here. It's really hot in here too, so this is a good test. So it'll be at this kind of these temps when I'm playing games on the computer, on the other computer. So it's realistic. Alright, Let's see if I can get the screen to show up on the actual YouTube again. A little bit at least. That was ugly. Maybe I'll just lay it down. Unless there's a bad reflection. Yeah, that'll work. It's kind of weird, but whatever. The sacrifices that I make. Alright. HDMI. I worked in the bottom one last time, so we'll just do that again. Yeah, I really don't like that flexing that's happening there. Gotta get a little refreshment. Alright, and as before, I will need to bring the mouse and the keyboard.
What are we drinking this fine evening?
It's Izzy Fusions. It's a orange mango drink. They're like fizzy, non-sugared pop, kind of. I don't know. It looks like this. Here, let me hold a can of liquid over the server I just built.
Please do.
Alright. So, keyboard. And mouse. Get this cable out of the way here. Here we go, mouse. Come on. Okay. And somewhere I put the power brick that I was using to power this thing, and of course I put it down and don't remember. It's not in the bag. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Okay. Gotta get the monitor out of the way so I can plug this thing in. Okay. Blue light. I like the blue light. It means everything's good. Kind of power thing. Go in a direction that makes any kind of sense, would you? Just have to bend the cable a little. Okay. So that works. And plug this in. Keyboard just blinked, which means it's got power through the USB. And the power button is somewhere on the side. There it is. And hopefully, I guess if I turn the monitor on, hopefully we see something soon. Anytime now. There it is. Reboot and select proper boot device, or insert boot media in selected boot device and press a key. Also known as it found the hard drives. So we will Control-Alt-Delete and just tap the delete key a few times to get, I don't know, is it, I don't remember. Yeah, it is delete, okay. Okay, now we're in the BIOS. This is really awkward to be standing all crooked and weird. And the keyboard's way over here. So let's bring that close-ish. And just for giggles, I'm going to prop this up so I can actually see it. Alright. So, let's see how our temps are doing. Just idling in BIOS. Hopefully not very bad because it's doing literally nothing right now. 30C. Yeah, I mean, there's no detectable heat on the case yet at all. It's only at 30C. It's hot in the room. I should be able to set up the... because the RAID wasn't working before because it was cranky about... There's no hard drives, you can't do RAID, easy RAID, so... Let's enable RAID. I actually should start downloading a... I wonder if my... Ooh, here we go. Oh look! 3 Samsung SSD 850 EVOs. 0, 1, and 2. Oh my god, it's gonna make me use the mouse for this.
Yes, it is.
You gotta be kidding me right now. Yes, so type is SATA. RAID 5. Look at that. It even gives you... like it's read out. RAID 10 you can't pick. I'm gonna pick RAID 5 though. Capacity 931.5 gigabytes, which is basically what I expected, although I was kind of hoping that that would be closer to a full terabyte. Okay, reboot again. I think WJ is back.
Yo, yo, yo.
Did
Dub,
you?
dub, dub.
Dude, look at the stream.
Oh, I need to pause the audio on that.
Well, so I can't.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I can't hear myself coming out of your speakers because I can hear that anyway right now. By the way. Health status.
There's just a delay.
Well, no, I think it's the because your microphone is super sensitive thing, so I'm just hearing you out of your own headphones.
By the way, I turned down my mic booster.
By the way,
It should be better.
well, I can definitely still hear it, but that's okay. So, voltages look pretty close to dead on, or at least as close as I can expect them to be. RAID is set up. Thought I enabled fast boot. Ultra fast. So we want all SATA on. VGA support, I don't care. USB can be partial because there's not going to be much plugged into this or anything ever. PS2 can be disabled. Network, 2 words, if you notice the capitalization there. Network. No. Well, it might be... I can't actually do anything on that computer because both of my peripherals are plugged into this computer now. Open Broadcaster is showing... It's good. Let me just... get another keyboard out of the freaking garage, probably, because this is going to get old real quick. And I already have a rat's nest, and I've only been doing this for 2 seconds. Alright, keyboard. Back to the original desktop. And checking YouTube. Stream health is green, it says, and I'm seeing it in YouTube right now, like just a few seconds late. So that sounds like a you problem, Brohan.
Okay, here we go.
Anyway, network stack driver will be skipped. Well, I don't want to skip network because I'm pretty sure I need that to do everything else I'm going to be doing. I do want to get my mouse out of the rat's nest. Okay. So, did I accidentally disable that? I don't remember. I'm going to leave that on. Next boot. After power loss, it's probably going to be in the middle of the night when I'm not looking, so... LAN boot option ROM. Probably don't need that. If this all has to do with boot speed, I think. Or maybe not down this far on the page. Okay. Alright, well. I think I'm ready to find an operating system online and put it on a USB stick and actually start putting some software on this bad boy. 3D Mark enhancement? What? What was that? Oops. This is a lot harder standing up over a wonky monitor than you would think. Yeah, we're going to leave that off. Smart fan. Oh, there we go. There's all the temps. So PCH is 45 degrees Celsius. Everything else is lower.
Nice.
34C on the 33, 34. That's what it was doing before too. It was about 33, 34. So, and this is kind of jammed in a corner here. I'll probably have it a little more open when it's in its final location. I think all of this is as disabled as it can be. Disabled. Yeah, so can't do anything else in SmartFan. Then I'll mess with frequency, memory, and voltage after I get it really done. So I believe that that is about as far as I can take this. Probably don't want to have people watch me install Proxmox because it's probably just a bunch of boring status bars. Okay. RST. And supported. Hot plug is supported. Ooh. I can hot plug all my drives. Too bad it takes a million years to take the case apart. Okay. Network stack. Why would the network stack be disabled? And what does that do? Am I at peripherals 2.5? Network stack. Disables or enables booting from the network to install a GPT format OS, such as installing the OS from the Windows Deployment Services server. Okay, I don't need that. So that's going to stay off. And
So like PXE boot?
yeah, that's what it sounds like. You can turn on PXE support in a separate spot, but it only works when network stack is on, so...
Right. It's literally loading the entire driver into fucking RAM.
Network stack driver support, so I can kill that one as well, because I think that's what the default was. Okay, internal graphics is auto, because you never know if I ever get a really skinny video card to fit in this case somehow. Never gonna happen. Power on by keyboard. Won't matter, there's not going to be a keyboard on it. Won't matter. Resume by alarm. None of this matters. So I'm going to save and exit and make sure it can boot. And then that's going to be it for today, or at least for the stream. Looks like it booted. It
Sweet.
spiked up to 36C during boot. But now it's immediately dropping again, so I'm not going to know how well that actually does until I can get, what's it called? Prime
proper
95.
OS.
No, just a little thing on the CPU that runs like crazy. It's the whole, it's cold in my office and I want it to be warm, the software.
A burn-in program.
Something, yeah. Okay. So, now I'll take my keyboard and my mouse back and I will kill the stream. And that will be that. So, hopefully that was in some way useful to somebody else watching. And if not, my apologies, but not much I can do about that, so. Okay. And away we go.